Alright, folks, welcome back to the DreamHack Open. Well, actually, I don't know if this is open. Maybe it's just the name. But anyways, either way, it's the DreamHack Tours qualifies, or Tour, excuse me. I keep saying the S, and I keep getting told, don't say the S. But it's the DreamHack Tour qualifier. This one is also known as the WCS Spring Championship qualifier. There's a significant amount of money, importance, and, of course, WCS points on the line for the main event that will be coming down a little bit after DreamHack Austin concludes. For us, though, we're just going to be covering the qualifiers. And in the top left, we get closer and closer to the qualifying match, actually. It is going to be the Red Protoss State.
In the bottom right, as the blue Zerg, it is Root JimRising.
And I just want to stress, actually, to explain just how close we are, the winner of this goes on to fight against the qualifying match. Now, it'll either be against Panda Bear, me, Warren, or Epic, one of the three. But I got to tell you, I think whoever wins this one is probably the one that qualifies through. They're just such fantastic players. Jim plays in a very, we'll say, unique style. When everyone else is playing mutas, he's playing lings and vice versa. Like, he's a bit of a wild card. Not crazy wild card, but on the edge, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can agree with that statement. Whoever gets through here is going to win the actual qualifier spot, unless one of those other three guys is on, like, a tear. Like, and I don't know if
I will say, because I know all three of those guys, Epic has been doing fairly well lately. I would say, like, maybe if it was 2 weeks ago, I would say, actually, no, I think Epic is looking super strong. He's not had as much success lately in the past, like, couple of weeks, but Panda Bear Me has been doing so ridiculously well for himself. He has just been on, like, a giant exponential parabola swing upwards in terms of his skill level lately. I legitimately think he could beat either JimRising or State. Potentially.
Yeah. I want to give a small shout out to Warren, by the way. I know that there's some like past history between us, but I actually bumped into him on the ladder on my master's grind, and he was playing unranked, and he offered to leave the game, but I told him no, don't. So just good guy Warren, just as a small shout out there.
Good guy. So
wow, good guy Warren, match fixing.
Well, he meant like if he was gonna win, like he'd lose, so I didn't lose points because he was playing.
Sure.
So not exactly match fixing, but.
But Panda Bear Me was the guy that I was going to say is like the contender here. So I don't know about his versus Zerg, but I would have foreseen it happening versus Protoss. If State wins this, basically, which Rifkin summed up pretty well. JimRising's just a wild card. You don't want to meet this guy on a bracket because it's not like you assume he's going to win. You just assume he's going to kick you out. And that could happen, especially in this matchup, CVP.
Yeah, I will say his Panda Bear Me's Zerg is ZVZ looks pretty good. He's played a bit on like the Korean ladder and stuff, and I've seen him do pretty well. I've seen him beat Jon Snow, I believe. I've seen him beat a lot of other fairly solid Zerg players. And I think I'm trying to remember if I know this match happened correctly. I think that he almost beat Scarlet with some pretty good ZVZ stuff. But regardless, that's a later match to be had for now. State versus JimRising. You're talking about how JimRising has a interesting style. He definitely likes to go for a fairly aggressive style, and he's already thrown down that Baneling nest, looking to go for that sort of new age ZVP style.
Yeah, this is like anybody that saw Dark and then played ladder in the week following, like they've.
Ooh, I want to do that.
Yeah. I want to give some shout outs really quick because the action, because it's Baneling nest, the action will pick up. So, Shy or Shady. I'm sorry, there's a sub, and I gotta learn how to pronounce this at some point. Donates $5. It says, but writing colors get you money, dang it. $5 more for purple because purple. And then Republic Bund donates $15 just now and says, red, damn it. So with poisons, that brings purple up to 20, and Republic Bund, that brings red up to 105 or 110. I'll check after the game, but thank you guys so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so I was going to note that, like, yeah, everyone's been doing this style, but it is something where I feel like it's like that, you know, I'm finally relevant guy from, like, Patch Pros or whatever. So JimRising finally comes in after the Dark's game and is like, I'm finally relevant. Of course, it's not the actual case, but is that something that is odd and a little different that he would have already been doing and experimenting with, but is actually something that everyone is going to say, like, oh, yeah, that's actually good, not just, oh, JimRising, like, oh, you.
Yeah.
So he's probably feeling pretty good. At this point in time in this matchup, but we'll actually see what happens. State went for Phoenixes and has been denying what could have been Overlord drops for some time now. And JimRising is going to be out using the Baneling nest on the defensive, but unfortunately, Banelings already made.
Right, and the worst part is his links are en route. Now, +1 weapon upgrades should have been finished. I would actually say he takes on this fight in relative ease. the fact that the Adept's going to be able to transfer around, they're not looking to fight with the Lings, they're looking to run past the Lings, or in the mineral lines like this. I take that back. Move command? Move command much? Oh, no.
Yeah. This is where, of course, Banelings would really shine, and 10 are on the way along with that +1, or I guess 6 of them are actually on the opposite side of the map.
Right, they're looking to go do some damage, and I actually don't dislike that situation, because the threat now are Phoenix more so than anything else. If the Phoenix are over here, they're not protecting the main, the drops might go off, and if he can kill enough workers to make this worth his while, then you kind of say, okay, great, you did some damage, but I can't see him getting enough damage in to make this too good.
Yeah, the Phoenixes are also picking up all the Banelings. So the Banelings that were trying to go help those Zerglings out are not going to be able to do anything.
Right, but Future Dragon, these Lings aren't meant to actually, they're not meant to do things. They're entirely to distract. As JimRising moves in with the Overlord. So it goes into the natural, goes into the main, but State is paying attention to both, and he's not distracted by either. Now, if that Overlord rallied to the ramp, that could have gotten some really sweet hits, but going for the third instead. Oh, they're all stacked up! Oh my god! So State plays too well for his own good and loses 20 probes off of a failed Baneling drop.
Amazing.
Amazing. Well then.
Well, that certainly helped. JimRising is now up 10 workers, where you feel more comfortable.
I think he'll hold, though.
Army,
the Banelings on the home front should be fine.
The army was questionable. I think you're right, though. There's enough Banelings. The splits have to be very, very good. Now the Lings coming in to make sure the splits don't occur. Oh, the shades. Like, good attempt, buddy.
Everything disappears. There's Phoenix still in the sky, which is a little annoying, but he can't pick up every Ling. And at this point, if Jim floods Lings, he might just overwhelm State. State does have an overcharge, and the third base should be fine, but this +1 weapons means he can just go to the natural instead and tear down buildings instead of units.
Yeah, there's no walling at the natural, and he doesn't get the warp in time. Oh, that's going to be frustrating.
A couple more probes are going to go down, adding on top of that Baneling count. So this is suddenly really turning its head into something very good for JimRising. But JimRising is still only on Lings. Not that State's doing much better. He's still only on Adepts, and not many of them, to be honest. Trying to get the charge now, but it's usually charge +1, Immortals, and maybe Storm on the way all at once. But now it is just charge, while JimRising is finally adding on that Hydralisk end.
Yeah, Zergons are going to continue to flood on in. The Mothership Core not in the right position to deal with Zergons at the third, and there's just going to be a couple of warp-ins that try and happen, but 6 workers have already gone down. Things are just spiraling really far out of control, and JimRising is just creating so much space for himself to do whatever he wants.
Yeah, I mean, another part of this too, State, not that he's exactly super low on minerals, but he's spent so much time rebuilding all these probes from 3 different nexus. Like, that could have been so many more Adepts. That could have been more Zealous when they were coming up here with Charge in a moment. Like, I'm surprised he's investing in Charge too, by the way, because Charge is like good for killing minerals, it's good for getting on top of Hydras, but it does mean he's going to be susceptible to future Banelings.
Yeah, I don't really know what exactly State's plan is, because usually the big reaction that I've seen on a lot of pros players to this style has been to get more sentries, and there we finally start to see some more of those sentries coming out from State, but the combination of that with Charge, yeah, that is really strange. Wait, actually no, it's Blink. Not Charge. Oh, well, I thought you were saying that he had gotten Charge, yeah.
He had started it and actually gotten it about, I thought maybe even a little bit less than halfway, so he changed his mind, realizing, I suppose, what the competition he'll be facing is, and that Charge lots would just be useless against Banelings, so it makes sense, and unfortunately it's still delayed tech.
He's trying to catch him on the ramp.
Oh, the Banelings.
No, State, man. We'll blame it on lag, right? State's from Korea, guys. He's playing from Korea right now. If you don't know that, he's, I will admit, though, he's got a pretty decent probe count, despite these consistent losses, tallying up now to, like, 52. Damn, 52. But he's still sitting on
49
50.
still.
And actually, all things considered, as time goes on, he'll need less anyways, because the bases are starting to mine out.
Yeah, it's a nice consolation prize, but the big problem is JimRising starting to get out the Hydralisk, he's starting to get out more Banelings, and he's been sitting on 60 workers for quite a bit of time. He's probably going to feel pretty okay with that. His 4th expansion's up, but I mean, realistically, pretty soon he's going to be transferring his workers from the main and natural over to that new base. JimRising is effectively been able to do pretty much whatever he wants in terms of teching. He's gotten up his upgrades. State is only now starting up that +1 weapons. He's got a lot of like the Psy Storm coming up. He's rebuilding his robotics facility and getting up some of those upgrades, but he's really far behind in terms of just transitionary tech.
Well, lurkers are certainly going to make an interesting splash on the scene.
Receiving incoming transmission.
Right now, State's done the right thing where, I guess, rightfully so, in fear of future baneling attacks, like he's got a significant amount of sentries up. A significant amount of sentries available. Oh,
We just got a huge donation. OFU just donated $100. There's nothing wrong with the purple helmets.
I think that's a Team Poison donation if I've ever seen one. So I'll add another 100 on top of the 10 we've currently got to after this is after out of game. Thank you kindly for that, sir. Now the Phoenixes are a bit trapped, and State really doesn't have that many left, so they're not exactly a huge priority to deal with. But I do like that he's kind of kept them in check. The Hydras are waiting to pounce no matter what way they fly out. Ling's going to be attacking the north side. Gets canceled. State's just like, screw that. It cancels everything. Probably a smart move. Jim actually never invested in Baneling's speed. I find that very interesting. Because I don't think from here to the end of the game, Banelings will ever not be effective. But he's not invested into them fully. With no speed off creep, like, they're not going anywhere.
It's going to be a bit hard to do or make use of them with the sentries in the mix just because of force fields, but I do agree, like, it wouldn't hurt, I would say. But Zergan's moving to that 4th expansion is going to be canceled one more time.
The way that this game has gone is certainly funny. And State losing out on another 4th base is pretty rough here, as he's still not able to clean it up. But JimRising, sure he has like a 20 army supply lead, but State could still get an effective army against it. You know, despite going for Blink, he never actually really fully invested in the Blink Stalkers. That means he's missing charge lots that would usually actually get up on top of those lurkers, but just because he thought Banelings would have made it a big problem. But he's got Storm, and he's got a lot of Storms too.
Right. That's actually... It's not going to deal with the lurkers, but it'll deal with the Lings and the Hydras. And if those are removed from the equation, then maybe he can deal with the lurkers. Let's also not forget those Phoenix, while not too effective at killing right now, they can lift up 4 lurkers. They immediately just remove 4 from the equation through crowd control efforts.
Yeah, like the 4 that are actually defending this 3rd base, which is the... Wait a minute. The lair? Huh. Okay, well, that is the lair. So that could be problematic, but he is missing those immortals that really are usually what's, killing the lurkers. Rather than just, crowd controlling them with the Phoenixes. So he's got to be careful with however he takes his engagement. And he still can't get that 4th out.
Well, here we go. A lot of storms going down top of the Hydralis, and the lurkers are down over on the south side, so they're not exactly in position, or at least a majority of them aren't. State going to be able to position himself between the natural and the 3rd expansion. This is going to be a kind of nice place, and he has a mothership core there, so he can actually recall out if he needs to.
Yeah, that's a good point. In case things get dicey, but he is hoping just to catch the lurkers every single time they burrow, catching 1 or 2 with the Phoenix or 1 or 2 with the force fields. Could just go up into the main now. Oh, run Archons.
Actually, if there's some lurkers at the top of this ramp at the main, that would have been sweet for JimRising, but State has really taken a hold of the situation. A lot of Jim's armies across the map, but what he's going to be killing with Lings and Banelings are going to primarily be probes, and I don't know about bases, because right now, if it does come to a base race, I guess maybe Jim actually could take it on account of the fact that he just has things all over the map. But
yeah,
I don't know. +2 weapons, they kill buildings pretty quick. That hive, what is that? Or, that's actually the 3rd. What?
This is like the weird thing, because you talk about, yeah, he does have a lot of buildings all over the map, but also keep in mind, a lot of that army for JimRising are Banelings. They are one-time usage units.
That's a good point. It's actually mostly Lings now. A couple Hydras came over as well. Sentry's not looking so hot.
He's gonna recall.
Lots of big chunk of those Stalkers to a Lurker you didn't see.
I think a problem with, well, the reinforcements, or retreating forces as well, but I was going to say that recall's an interesting choice out of State. Jim actually probably shouldn't have taken this fight. He's actually fine behind this, recovery-wise. He's got extra bases, he's got extra drones, he's got lurkers protect drones, his hive stayed alive. Like, he's really not in a terrible spot compared to State, whose mining bases got killed. He's only got these mineral patches to mine with. There's no 3rd base, there's no 4th base. So Jim's got, I think, better potential right now, but if he throws too much away too quickly, he loses all of that and has no chance to recover whatsoever.
I I feel like a lot of this is going to be about the positioning of the army and who catches who off guard, because they're both moving around a lot. Lurkers do manage to burrow in time, and State going to be taking a couple of losses over here.
There's
but
only
snags
one
all of
observer.
the Hydras.
He dived in with the Hydras to kill the observer. There's no detection now for State.
He is cranking out an Oracle. He realized very quickly, I suppose, that he might not have detection, and he's also getting a Dark Shrine, realizing that it might turn into a base trade.
I think Oracles are about 1,000,000 times better than observers in this situation. We've seen it happen too many times. We're also trying to storm their own freaking observers. Like, they're just not reliable forms of detection this late into the game. Ling's also go for the counterattack instead of trying to stay home and defend, but Jim's got to realize State's going to have no money. Like, he has to realize that's the situation, because if he does, then he turtles, he holds up, builds up spines. I don't care what he does, but as long as he lives, he's going to win, because State's going to starve to death soon, and he can't replace any losses.
So, we talked about State's detection. We didn't really talk about JimRising's, who does no spore crawlers, although still has the ability. Oh no, there's one in that base, but not in his outline bases. So yes, like the turtle option was there for at least one base. And I'm actually surprised that State's
Lings
pushing
from behind.
in here. Lings from behind. This is a very questionable decision from State.
Jim's got
he
it.
Loses the
He
entire
breaks it.
army.
He's on
I was gonna
3
say,
bases. GG.
Yeah, GG. That State could have instead just ran away from the lurkers, killed 2 extra bases, and both would have been in a very poor economic state. Although, you know, JimRising had any mining going on, would be good. Instead, he just ran his army in there.
That was, like I said, Jim plays the game a little bit weird. Even though it ended up being like a more standard style at the end, that got a little bit strange as far as regular games go. But thank you to Cantor Dust for the 16-month resub, as well as Steely Danger. I always remember this name because it sounds so freaking cool. But we have to add $100 on top of the 10 I already added, so that's 120 now on purple. Now passing red. So the order of this is still white, blue, purple. No, sorry, white, blue, purple, red, pink, black. Nobody wants blonde. That's pretty cool.
I should also say I think that I may need to take off now. I think that it is time for me.
That means I'm going to begin to call me back. We'll get in this lobby. Fear Dragon, thank you so much for joining us. Quick shout outs where people can find out more about you before you disappear.
Fear Dragon 64 and all that good stuff. But go check out these players because they're freaking awesome. I love both of them. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Get out of here, you hoser. Bye.
Bye.
All right, I'll get Zomgrave to call me back. We're already in the lobby. We'll just get this going here. It'll take a second. Should only take a second. Boom. Welcome back, madam.
Hi.
I'm going over there.
All right.
Look at this. You sound better. You sound so much better right now. Like, I'm telling you, Fear Dragon was trying to
You sound better
undermine you.
too.
I'm telling you, Fear Dragon he was trying to drive a wedge between us.
Almost worked too.
You won't text me. Whoops, intro. See you soon. All right, getting into game number 2 here for the DreamHack Tour qualifier. It is, of course, an actual WCS event, big qualifier. It might not seem like that big of a deal, but there is quite a bit riding on these players getting through. Spawning in the bottom left side of the map, though, he's up 1-0 in this best of 3. Fair point to note, still the winner's bracket. It's going to be the red Zerg JimRising playing for Root Gaming.
In the bottom right, as the blue Protoss, it is State on the clan on fire.
Yeah, so still not quite a real team, but had the sickest roster for a not real team you've ever done, did see.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I have no idea what they actually were like when it came to team leagues, to be honest. I don't watch. I mean, occasionally, like maybe if Wardy's on, I'm not watching anything else. But you know, there's always been this thing about the Miracle teams where you think they're going to do great because they have a bunch of cool names all joining forces, and then they do terrible. Like EGTL and whatnot.
Well, I actually get a little bit sad too, because like there are pros and cons to team leagues, right? Like, just to talk about this while the opening's going down. You could have a team league in a format where like one person can carry the team. It's like less of a team league and more of a Tasia league. We had to have with Team Liquid a lot. It was kind of not the greatest. Then you got team leagues that are more like Pro League, and you know, there's best ofs that lead into it more and more. They're all complicated, and that's why they're hard. That's why you don't see them. They're hard to run. So then you bring up Wardy. Gotta give Wardy a bit of a shout out because like he is the only team league that still runs consistently outside of Korea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is tough stuff to do. I mean, you know, Take TV gave up on it. The Acer Team Story Cup.
Well, in fairness, I think there's a lot less Take TV giving up on it, more Acer.
Okay, yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. Acer gave up on it. So it's so hard to run for anyone, and it's hardly ever worth it. You just don't get that same prestige, I feel, that's worth it if it's not in person. But oh well. Oh well. I'm sure chat will know what the actual score was like for Clan on Fire and whether or not they did well. Or are doing well. Is it still going? I don't know. Knowledge.
Knowledge is power, and we are weak.
And yeah, we don't have any. Great.
I do not lift, is what this comes down to. Now, for States, that's got to be a disheartening loss. Like he had the better looking army. I think he had the game on like recovery for a while. Like even though he lost multiple probes, and I gotta give shouts to this Bailey hits out of Jim real quick. But even though he lost so many probes, he recovered. He played well, and he still had a bigger, better army. This like if it didn't go to like what was a potential base trade, like he might have had to recall. Maybe Jim had just fought him at home. State overwhelms him. Like I got a feel for State after that game. I really do. But it was Jim who won the game after all.
Yeah. I think those are all really good points. You can't really add too much on top of that, just for State here. Now, the great news for the Koreans, or the people in Korea for once, sorry, no Koreans allowed here, but the people in Korea for once, it's actually a decent time, which has not happened often before, especially if they play in like a European tournament. It's terrible, but they actually had to wake up like only slightly early, like 9 a.m., and it's afternoon right now. It's actually the East Coast North American players that are starting to get a little bit tired.
Yeah.
Receiving incoming
It is
transmission.
currently 8 p.m. here on the West Coast, so 9, 10, 11 on the East. Kind of harsh.
Yeah.
We've, of course, been doing this for a while, but holy friggin' shit, Zombie Grub. We got, like, crazy generous people hitting us up tonight. We had Oh Fuck You just moments ago. Now Republican Bun hits us up with another $78, which with the earlier donation puts him close to 100, as he says, red,
damn.
please. Just red, please, all caps.
A lot of people are very like passionate about the color my hair will be.
I'm personally like I can't donate towards this, but Republic Bond, I gotta let you know, man, I'm with you on the red train, man. So nicely done.
See, originally I thought you were totally not on board the red train.
I'm more on board the red train than I am white or blue. Is I think the better way to phrase that.
Okay, all right, fair enough. We'll see what happens. It's still another week to donate to this, so that I mean, I thought white was going to win for sure with Reamar's donations. Apparently not. It's a roller coaster of emotions.
I like too for you because it's almost like watching a horror game in slow motion. Because you're like, I don't really want any of these.
That one guy starts donating to pink, and I'm just like, oh Jesus!
Please God, no. Pink is like an ugly red. Stop it. All right, over here on the right side, we do have the rocks being chipped away at. Now, State does see this, and he's going to try and put a layer of a wall behind it. But there's nothing to really help out with this. The adepts are kind of coming over now, but unfortunately they won't be able to do anything about these lings. Phoenix is hovering around, hoping the Queen gets baited away from the Spore Crawler, but not looking like it, so gonna have to look elsewhere for some free kills. In fact, never mind, take it back. There we go. Jim, not on hold position.
It's like, yeah, a little unfortunate for him. Scouts the Hydralist den, but that wasn't much of a surprise. If it's not going to be the Baneling Ling, like, hyper aggression, then it is going to be most likely something to do with Lurkers. I mean, that's PvZ for you.
Yeah, that wasn't.
Or we're
like,
trap rolling.
I gotta go back on that too. Like, Jim did some cool stuff, like sniping off the Observer and all that, but it's not like, oh my god, such skill Lurkers. Like, Jim actually did a lot of stuff outside of the Lurkers. It was just the Lurkers at the end of the game that won it. But, like, the Banelings, I think I was expecting to see Banelings again. I mean, they did so good in that first game. You almost, like, can't fault them.
Yeah.
But regardless, it is good to scout the Hydras and just confirm that this is going to be something normal, and that this isn't going to be some sort of weird Corruptor Muta build into Phoenixes. Something that you would just totally not expect with a Phoenix opener.
Mm-hmm. As that last game happened, I think it did, I think State was a little caught off guard by the Lurker counts. Not by Lurkers in general, but the actual full transition, or almost full transition, to Hydraling Lurker. He didn't have like that immortal count that usually would fall back on to really bust through the Lurkers. He didn't have a charge lot count because he was always wary that Banelings would come into play, which apparently they are again going to come into play as the Baneling nest is being put down now. So while the charge lots that he's still getting, because he's going for that regular old Protoss versus Zerg standard composition, might not be the best. These immortals are going to be a lot more helpful against the potential Lurkers, which keep saying Lurkers, but there's still no Lurker Den, so maybe it is just going to be a Ling Baneling Hydra bust,
Right.
which has been very effective on this map in particular.
We actually got to cast some within the European qualifier. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
being on almost 10 hours of casting, my brain's a bit frazzled. I don't remember who, but I do remember the discussion we had that proved to be pretty important. And actually, I think it was on Invader too, but the point of it still being that if you're going for Hydras and Banelings and upgrades, you don't have a lot of gas. So this fourth base, geysers 7 and 8 become very, very important. Whether State recognizes this or gets to shut it down, find out. But for now, Jim, I think he knows the situation he's in, and I love that he prioritized Hydras over Banelings, but he is going to need a lot of gas.
It wasn't just the European qualifiers. This was literally our first cast of the day. Was no regret, or sorry, second cast of the day. No regret going for a Baneling Hydra bus against states on this map in these positions. I remember because you brought up those 5th and 6th gases, like in that exact same way.
I didn't bring up the 5th and 6th gases, so those would be over here.
Shut up. 6, 7, shut up. Your face.
My face is amazing. Are you kidding me?
Whatever, man. Anyway, so the big difference here is that JimRising isn't as much of a committed Baneling Hydra attack. Like, in fact, this isn't like an all-in at all. Like, that was upgrade list. That was much earlier on. JimRising just went for a composition and is still going for a very powerful macro game behind it. So double Spire, Lurker Den, Infestation Pit. The game's gonna go on for a while longer.
All right, well, Terminator hits us up with a $5 donation while we're waiting for some of the action to kick off. Thank you kindly, sir. Twitch alerts is not working, so do you have the message?
He says, don't have to read this.
Oh.
But this and the next few are for blue hair. Please wait until they're all done to read them all.
Clearly you should have read that before reading it, Zombie Grub. Now you've ruined the illusion and the magic of what's coming.
Well, I was very confused at what point, like...
It's okay.
I need to let you know that he was going to donate more.
Well, I didn't know he was going to either. Okay, so there we go. So we won't read anything from this for whatever is incoming, but thank you, Terminator, and shout out to you, sir. Hydras, though, looking for a fight they have to defend, but they're staying segmented because he knows there's storms. And if he just moves in all at once, he could risk getting stormed on every single one of these Hydras. So a little bit worrisome, but the Hydras eating the storms are better than the Banelings eating the storms. Banelings don't have speed, actually. And then a Jim, once again, he has skipped this. And Time Warp plus Storm. Oh, it's so gross.
Oh, the ye old offensive Time Warp. Oh, no. That's a rarity. But this is a very scary position just because of the amount of storms are available for states. Like, those Hydras need to dodge and weave and split like nobody's business, but they do so much splitting and dodging that they let that hatchery fall down and still run into the backup storms.
But in fairness, he did kill all the Templar and force what little were left into Archons. So now this army is actually insanely more manageable to fight.
Yeah, actually, I'm a little curious as to why State's taking this engagement, but I think he really believes in the power of Charge Lot Archon specifically, so they are working through those Hydras.
Now, it's unfortunate we didn't have a few more Banelings out of Jim. While this goes on, though, he did take a base to the north, so it's not like he's absolutely given up on, oh, I lost the base and I got all in. Like, he's still in a pretty decent spot. Lurker's also starting up too, going to start changing things around. I'm going to intentionally ignore that as requested for a few minutes. And I guess we'll get to them all once we're out of game. But right now, for State's sake, back at home, like, okay, he took a 4th base, his mining looks fantastic, he's sitting on 73 probes, cool. But everything he has right now is geared towards killing Jim's ground. And Jim's gonna go above the ground. He's going towards that Spire, he's gotten greater Spire as we speak. And this could be, it's like, what, 5 Phoenix? No Stalkers? 2 Archons? Nothing here that really shoots up.
Not really, but there is the potential, like, once he scouts this, and he has a couple units going into the main base to harass, a couple of charge lots. Actually, if they were all together on those Hydras, wouldn't have done so well, but he breaks through the main, it doesn't actually matter. No worries about the Broodlords, just end the game before then.
Yeah, he's gonna jump out and, nicely done to State. But okay, that's gonna take us into the small break before we get into Game 3. I'm gonna quickly comment on something. I'm trying so hard not to give everybody attention on this, but everyone clearly wants it. I'm just gonna say our mods. If it's a subscriber that's being rowdy and out of control, please don't be afraid to apply regular rules to people just because they're subscribed. I think it's clear that I'm talking about 1 or 2 individuals in particular, but anyways, I will say this real quick. If you guys ever dislike what we're doing on the channel, or our casting, or our attitudes outside of casting, you can always unsub. And I want to put this like really clearly. There's never going to be a situation where you will ever be able to like bully or pressure us into anything by threatening to unsub or threatening to not donate. Like, we just do not care, and I do not negotiate with terrorists, okay? So I want to make that very clear and put that out there. We're going to go to a break, though. We'll see you guys in 2 minutes. Thanks for watching. Because we have no map intro, I will humor you, sir, because Terminator's been around for a long time. All right? Hey, I'm not the daywalker, or sparkle like I don't live in a castle, or drink true blood, or own a familiar. And I don't know Vlad or Alucard from Transylvania, although I'm certain they're very scary. I can proudly eat the non-subbing clips. I believe in blood drinking, not vegetarianism. People by themselves, nothing. I can't keep this up. People by themselves, not in groups, and the bat is truly dark and mysterious animal. A coffin is a bed, a coven is a party, and pronounced blah, ne bleh. Vampires are the second largest mythical beast, the first group in drinking blood, and the best part of creatures of the night. My name is Rifkin, and I will not read that last line of the vampire donation. So I'm guessing he wants to put all of this on what color? Blue. So that's going to be 35 on blue, and that's the end. So thank you, Terminator. And let's hop into the game, shall we? It is tied up 1-1 now that we are in game number 3. It's the ace match finale of this match. Now, again, quickly reminding everybody, this is going to lead to a qualifying match. The winner of this goes on for a chance to actually go to DreamHack in France and play over there. So, without further ado, in the top right-ish, middle right-ish side of Coral Carnage Knockout, it's going to be On Fire's State.
Beautiful accent, by the way. Really enjoyed all of it.
Yeah? Was it vampire enough?
Yeah, totally. In the bottom left, as the teal Zerg, it is Root JimRising.
Quick question being asked, like, why is there a donation of pie over the black hair? Because $3.14 was pledged towards it, and the guy who asked requested, and we just don't have. No one's putting money on black or blonde. Nobody.
Everyone puts it on red, just like at the crap stables. Right? Right? That happens. I bet. I gamble. Don't worry about it.
Are you supposed to put it on red?
I don't know.
I thought it was always bet on black.
I don't know, buddy.
Once you go black, you never go back.
I went to Las Vegas twice, and both before I was 21.
But don't you have that Ocean City house or something? Like, don't they do gambling there, man?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's gambling everywhere around me. There's a Maryland gambling, there's West Virginia gambling, and I think Ocean City might allow it too.
Match fixing.
Wow.
Too soon. Too soon.
I've never bothered actually learning how to do any of that, to be honest. The most I've ever done at, like, an actual casino is play with slots.
Well, you actually rocked out pretty hard with the poker game at BlizzCon.
Beginner's luck.
We were at the table with Mike Morhaime, and her and Mike moved on from our table while the rest of us died. We had a pretty stacked table, too. There's like Maynard at BC Apollo. Me, of course, as well. I think Jack, I can't remember. There's a ton of people there. That was a lot of fun. That was actually a great time. But update, by the way, as I did math while this was going on and you were talking, Blue is now in the lead. 322. So I hope you like blue hair, Sandro. So. All right. Thank you, Harry Pun, as well, for the 3-month resub. And this is a slow game, which is why we were talking absolute bullshit nonsense for the first part of it.
Yeah. It's on a funny map though. So this, I believe, is the second time that I'm pretty sure it was State. So it must have been we were casting him versus Red. Anyway, were these 3 maps in particular what came out? You know, like. Not the normal Dusk Towers, and then, you know, the older maps like Prion Terraces and Arena, which, gosh, have you seen any of that this qualifier?
No, actually, but I was going to comment on that really quick. Like, I think as a Protoss at least, I can see you vetoing Prion over Core Hall, for example. Like, this map, objectively, is not the worst map when it comes to strategy. Maybe in layout, maybe in size, but... Like, I don't think you want to fight a Zerg player and give them the advantage of Prion. So I think, like, if you're going to use one of your vetoes, you burn it on that map, not this one, for example. And this just may be, like, the lesser of evils, because you don't want to fight on Arena either.
Yeah, both oddly enough, like, both of those in this matchup can go, like, really drastically different depending on, like, who's aggressive and who's owning and whatnot. But I guess it could also be just the lesser of all evils, considering the map pool right now for Protoss, especially. But it was a map that we thought was very rarely going to be picked. You know, one person would play on it and train on it, and then they would have like a trump card, but then otherwise not so much. But it's actually become quite often chose, which I don't really mind. I didn't like it when I initially played it, but it's a fun game to watch. Fun map to watch.
By the way, I didn't realize her bracket had advanced so quickly. I thought we were actually in one of the forerunning matches, but Scarlett's already played her qualifying match and qualified to WCS Spring. So congratulations to her.
Oh, she's gonna have quite... Wait a minute, so she has to go from Austin to France,
back
to Korea. Oh god.
Skylit is gonna get to travel the world, and I hope she likes planes.
Yeah, right. Amazing.
I was
oh my
surprised
god,
though that
France
went so
to Korea. Oh Jesus. Yeah. Yeah, it was a quick bracket, but you know, to be honest, I didn't think. I guess she had to face Jon Snow. That was probably her biggest problem. And then Jim, I would have said back in Heart of the Swarm was a huge contender, but I don't know that the Chinese guys have not looked so impressive. Probably because Protoss has changed so much. But anywho, Phoenix harassment goes down. I really wanted to note, however, more importantly, the weirdly placed gateways off to Estate's third base. They almost look like they wanted to be hidden, but I guess he just was putting them there to be next to his third base anyway. And I don't know. The ones in his third, because they aren't blocking the rocks either. They are just.
It's more like they've got the potential to block the rocks, but more importantly, I think they house that pylon. But actually, no, because it's not. You can.
That's his natural. His third.
Oh, his third up here. Sorry, I thought you were talking about those ones. My bad. You're right. Yeah. These are weird as fuck. I don't know why I didn't just put them down here to the south.
So I don't know. I thought they might be like a hidden thing, you know, but the Overlord would have seen them anyway. And it's just a macro game, so I don't know. That was just odd. But it is a macro game, so you know it's oddly enough that case that we've seen this map more than we ever thought we would, and we've also seen a lot more diversity in this map. There's been a couple of macro games. There's that one super long macro game where one of the Korean Protosses went for like Tempests right off the bat. That was weird. And there's been very fast games with like early pools, of course.
Well, with the Phoenix in play, State does have he's kind of revealing that there is a lot of Phoenix in play as well. This is something that I think you take into consideration as a Zerg, seeing more than 5 ever. Back rocks are being broken down, but actually the Adepts and the Phoenix, well, it looks like an army you would want to fight Hydras with. I don't think you do. Not with this low number of Adepts, at least. Maybe like 1 or 2 more Warpins.
Yeah, exactly. That's a very questionable number of Adepts. So I guess he just wanted to maybe try and scare JimRising. JimRising was like, wait, what the hell? What are you doing? Because these don't have upgrades. They do have Resonant Glaives, but no +1. And the Phoenixes weren't even around to help them either.
Shoutouts real quick to Darth Silius. He donates $7.89 and says, "Let's go red." I'll add that in after this game, friend. But this is an Adept number that maybe you want to contest. Like if the Phoenix can get some kills on the north side, you just leave the Adepts to auto attack. You don't have to do a lot of micro with them. This is something that can work. But for State, it's so close. I like that he's assessing the situation really well by constantly sending the shades in and debating, like, is this worth it or not? Because through 2 different Sonic transfers, he's not seen any Banelings yet. Jim is getting Banelings, make no mistake, but he hadn't seen them yet.
Yeah, no Banelings and no Lurkers either. So it is important scouting to have. It just always looks like, oh my god, please don't forget to cancel. Please don't forget to cancel. Because that's a large part of his army now. That is most of his buffer for the Immortals and Knight Templars that he's getting. Because I don't think he started adding in charge lots yet, despite having charge done. I don't think he's going to add them in at all now that he knows that Banelings are out.
Also, want to note, this is the first game JimRising's had speed for the Banelings, by the way. 3.
Yeah. So that it's gonna obviously tear through not just charge slots that would actually run into them, but Adepts if they can reach them as well. Oh, that shade. Oh, that shade. Oh, they shade another army. Never mind.
A little bit unfortunate
they got
for
away.
State. This actually, I will say, this is more than a little unfortunate for State because right now his overall supply is not so hot. He brings in the sentries, but a little too late, so the Banelings take care of all the Adepts, no problems whatsoever. And Jim now sitting at 100 army supply.
That is scary, but that doesn't take into account storms, unless you have State can buy a lot of time with that, because they're gonna have to be going through chokes after all. But this is one of those awkward situations where you are breaking down the rocks into their main base, where a lot of very important tech could be, like the rope bows, for instance. And State does need to react to that as soon as possible. But I'm looking at, I only see 1 High Templar. He doesn't even have Storm yet. I don't think he has a big enough army unless he has Storm.
Well, the Time Warp's actually, this is a really sick spot for a Time Warp, but it takes so long to go up.
Spot for force fields, and the sentries are too late.
Yeah, this is going to be a really tough hold. Jim's got +1 weapons. He's got a lot of Hydras. The Baneling's going to come wrap around the left side. The Phoenix has picked them up, but there's more where that came from. These sentries, too slow to escape. Thank God he got speed.
Oh, that storm missed. He just walked on past it.
I think this is probably going to send State to the loser's bracket.
Ooh, that's a long time to wait.
Congratulations to Jim, though, who will go on to play a qualifying match. So congratulations to him. During that game, I did message Kelazur, by the way, and said, if your game gets ready to go, please hold it. So I don't know if it's ready, but it should be on deck for us. So he'll be playing against what is most likely Masa in a battle of the two best North American Terrans.
Yeah. Cool beans.
Yeah, so we're going to get into that one in a moment. Thank you guys again for watching. There is an entire losers bracket. There's still a ton of games to play. Please check out the brackets on the Challenge site. Type ! brackets. It'll take you to the official DreamHack brackets. And, yeah, you can go see what the games that we're not casting. Again, super shouts to Scarlet. That went so just damn quick. But we're going to go to a break first, and we'll see you guys in a few minutes.